Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's edition of the Fed Flash Face-Off. I'm Gary Ryan, the Fed League Flash. I am hoping that this show is going to be much better than last week's, because last week we had a lot of bad news. I'm done with the bad news, I hope. But, all right, for today's show, we do have something excellent planned. We have the Fed Flash Awards, annual awards that I have done every year for the last 3 years, recognizing some players who I think is the MVP, the Rookie of the Year, the Coach of the Year, Broadcaster of the Year, the most gentlemanly Player of the Year, all that kind of stuff. So we are going to have our main segment as being that. All right, I do have a segment to start off with talking about dealing with the loss of a team. Very hard to do. I know from personal experience, and some of you fans, unfortunately, are experiencing that right now. I just wanted to reflect upon that because I think it's important to do so and to recognize some of us are more fortunate than others. We need to give thanks for what we have, for our teams, for the players, for everyone involved in the Fed. We need to be thankful for what we have. All right, also, news and notes. I am hoping that I don't have any negative news this week. I really am, because I am mentally exhausted. As I'm recording this is Saturday, so all the bad stuff just happened. Let's say enough is enough. Let's have some good stuff happen to the Fed, to your team, to our league, to the community. Let's have some good stuff. All right, let's start it off right now.
What did he say?
All right, so we're going super unusual for this version of Flash Chat. You are obviously looking at me driving. I've got my camera mounted on my dash. I've got my attention on the road up here, not there. I am driving up to game number 2 between the Port Huron Prowlers and the Binghamton Black Bears as I'm recording this. Obviously, when I release this, we're going to be 5 days in the future. So this is a little unusual, and I'm going unscripted here. Basically, I'm just going to talk to you guys from my heart on this matter. Dealing with losing a team. Some of you have felt this, some of you have not. It's a real kind of grief, and it doesn't matter if your team was great, if the team was not. You become emotionally invested in your team, and when all of a sudden things go south and there is no longer any team, it's a personal loss, and it's tough. All right, I've dealt with the pain of losing a team 3 times, and it's not really something you're able to describe. It's obviously not as traumatic as losing a close friend or losing a spouse or something like that, but it is still a loss that involves grief, literal grief. And you know, even if the team, you know, as they existed, things weren't going very great,
championships, that's all kind of secondary. The first time I experienced this loss, I was my very first hockey team that I personally invested myself into was the Binghamton Whalers of the AHL, played from 1980 to 1990. My father and I went to a lot of games. I went to a lot of games myself. They were my first real love. And now I had gone to a game in Binghamton the season before when the Binghamton Dusters were in their final year. That was just a game that my father and I went to, as I had become hooked on hockey with the Miracle on Ice, USA beating Russia in the Olympics. I was hooked on hockey from that moment forward. And when it came time for the Whalers, I followed these guys, obviously, since, I loved watching these guys in Binghamton. Anytime a player would get called up to Hartford, like Ulf Samuelson or Shane Churla or Peter Sidorkovich. I almost called him Sid. Well, he was the original Sid. Anyway, it was great. Hey, these guys are playing in Hartford. Yay! They made it to the big show. The last couple of years, Hartford wasn't investing a whole lot in the Binghamton market. They were, unbeknownst to me at the time, shopping around looking for a better fit for their top farm club. And the final season, just unforgettable season. The Binghamton Whalers stunk. Set a futility record in the AHL at the time for the worst record, win-loss record. 11 wins, 60 losses, and 9 ties. So, 31 points. No, wait a minute. Was that the right? Yeah. 11, 60, and 9. It was a terrible, terrible team. Although not really. That's the irony of it. I went to 15 games that year, mostly with my father, but occasionally I would go by myself. And, the team was an awful product on the ice. And about early February became known, Hartford's not going to be here next year. Now what? So the Binghamton Whalers were pulling out, and I was without a team. And even though that team just stunk on the ice, I loved them. Two of the most memorable players on the team were the goaltending tandem of Kay Whitmore, who right now is the guy in charge on the NHL level of player equipment standards, particularly goaltenders, but he also deals with the skaters as well. And Daryl Ray, he was the other goaltender. Daryl Ray worked for the Dallas Stars a number of years as a broadcaster. Now he is a hockey insider. All right. There were a lot of other players on the team as well. Terry Yake, he played with the St. Louis Blues. Blair Atchingham, I believe he was later with the Blues as well. I can't remember for sure. It was so long ago. It was 1990. Anyway, it was really rough not knowing what was going to happen. At the end of March, news came out that the New York Rangers were coming in, and that was huge. The community loved that. Binghamton, home to a lot of Rangers fans, so we were excited about that. But still, I'm losing my first team, the very first team that I got to watch and get to know some players, at least on a surface level, and it was tough to see them go. The irony of that team, 11, 60, and 9, is the next year they were in Springfield, Massachusetts. That was the new AHL affiliate for Hartford. And they go on to win the Calder Cup with mostly the same guys on a team that went 11-60-9. That was heartbreaking. Nonetheless, okay, the pain was assuaged a little bit because now we had the Rangers for 7 years. I still remember the 1996-97 season, and it becomes known that the Binghamton Rangers are being sold to MSG, and the operations moved to Hartford because, of course, the Hartford Whalers are leaving town to become the Carolina Hurricanes. I was angry. I was really, really angry, especially at the ownership for selling out. 29 years later, I'm still angry about it. I'm still salty about that. I kid you not. I've talked to some of my friends in the Binghamton area, and when we talk about the owner, Tom Mitchell, great hockey guy, but I hated him for selling the Rangers to Hartford. Well, selling to MSG and then moving on to Hartford. And I was so burned that the next year, when the AHL was no longer in the picture for Binghamton and they went to the UHL, I didn't care. I didn't go to any UHL games because at that point I was an AHL snob. You know, this is the level of hockey I'm used to. These guys are just one level below the NHL. This is great. Now we're going to the UHL, lower league. I don't want to watch that. I wish I had. It's one of my bigger regrets in life that I never gave the UHL a chance. Okay, so move ahead. 5 years later, the AHL returns to Binghamton, and it's the Binghamton Senators. By this time, I had, pardon the steering wheel, I had moved to northeastern Pennsylvania. I was married, family, job. Binghamton is now like 70 miles away, but I still kept following the Binghamton Senators because that was my hometown originally. Binghamton, great seasons, a lot of great players. Denny Hamel and Ray Emery and Chris Kelly and a lot of other players that ended up becoming regulars in the NHL. And I love the team. Jason Spezza, Antoine Vermette, great players. And I got a chance to see them all in Binghamton. They finally win the Calder Cup in 2011, after 30-some years of AHL hockey. Binghamton finally had a championship. It was great. And then just 5 seasons later, they were gone. Now, the writing was on the wall for the Binghamton Senators for about 2 years because Eugene Melnick didn't want to continue pouring money into Binghamton. He wanted to move the team closer to Ottawa, and of course they ended up in Belleville where they are now, and that stung too. So 3 teams that I ended up losing that I had personally invested myself into. And really, really hurt. It was like losing a dear old friend. So I understand the pain that Biloxi fans, that you guys are going through, Baton Rouge, that you guys are going through. Your teams might not have been the best on the ice, but it didn't matter. This was your team. This was your community. And in the FPHL, you had the benefit of getting to know these guys. I mean, in the FPHL, the greatest thing about the league is that these players literally become family. They become a part of the community. Just to throw a name out for Baton Rouge fans, I mean, Jake Cox, became part of Baton Rouge community, and you guys loved it. You used his lawn care service. You embraced him as not just a player, but as a person. I didn't get that with the AHL level, and it still hurt losing teams. It hurts doubly when you get to get close to these guys and really get to know them. My goodness, I got very attached to the Dashers 2 seasons ago. This was, a team that on the ice stunk. They were terrible. They only won 3 games in regulation. Yada yada yada. But those guys were tight. They were, they were there for each other, and they were there for the community. And I had a chance to personally meet a lot of those Dashers players. I became emotionally invested in them. I'm close to Binghamton, and I think 2 seasons ago I was more emotionally invested in the Dashers than I was in the Black Bears. I kid you not. So then when news came out that this team is done, it hurt. It really, really hurt. A lot of the junk that they had to go through because they had a deadbeat owner, it hurt. Going through that and seeing the players go through that, and some of the conversations I had with the players were heartbreaking as they told me some of the conditions that they had to endure, and not getting paid for 4 weeks, and then here's some pay and some back pay, and then not getting paid for another 4 weeks. That hurt. That really hurt. It was really difficult. It's painful. If you haven't had to endure the pain of losing your team, I envy you. At the same time, I caution you not to dismiss those of us who have lost teams or are currently losing their teams. Biloxi, they sucked this last year. But, for diehard Biloxi Breakers fans, this was their team. These were their guys. They got to get to know these people, not just as players, but as human beings, being out there in community. And then, news comes that, the Breakers are done. Yeah, they're upset, they're hurt, they're angry, and I don't blame them one iota. Some of them have voiced their anger directed to me because I broke the news. I get that. Your first inclination, even though it's not rational, is to lash out at the person that is giving you the bad news. I get it. So I don't answer in a defensive mood. Well, you guys, you got no right to lash out at me. No, I get it. It hurts. It sucks. And I just want to basically express that this is a difficult process. When you have a league such as the FPHL, where unfortunately you have 1 or 2 teams folding every year because the league won't do their due diligence at the beginning of the year and properly vet potential ownership groups, it's terrible. It is terrible. And so you have a right to be upset. You have a right to be angry. You have a right to lash out. And I'm not going to deny you that. I'm very sorry for your loss. And then, even though it sounds kind of silly to some to hear someone say that, I seriously am very sorry for your loss. It is a tremendous loss. And are there other entertainment options out there? Absolutely. But it's not the same because you got to know the players and the coaches and the staff and the people that worked at the arenas and the guy who drives a Zamboni and the people that check your ticket at the door. You got to know all these people. They became your friends. They became your family. They became your community. And now it's gone. It hurts. It really hurts. And I just wanted to voice that. I understand that. I understand. I wish I had some magical words to say that would make it all better. Unfortunately, I don't. For anyone who has doubts whether I don't care when I report news like this, no, I care. I care because I recognize how much that it affects fans, players, arena workers, staffers. It affects so many people. It affects the league on the whole. Because even if I am not a Biloxi Breaker fan, okay, because of my interactions, I get to know some of these players. And now, that connection is, at least for the time being, severed. It hurts. It really hurts. The hockey community is very small, and I would just ask for those of you who have been blessed enough to be able to have your team as a permanent fixture, like people in Peoria. My goodness, you've had hockey now for over 50 years consecutively. I hope you never go through the pain that some of us have gone through. It's wonderful that you've had Riverman hockey for as long as you have, but that's not the case for everyone. Just remember that, and be compassionate and be supportive. Even if your team isn't directly affected, well, kind of it is. Be supportive of those who aren't so fortunate. All right, so I have rambled on. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. That's not a TED Talk. Let's move on. Now that we've had our somber moment, let's move on to something much happier. This is a centerpiece of this video. I do this every year, at least for the last 3 years. Presentation of the Fed League Flash Annual Awards.
Okay, I have been eagerly awaiting to do this particular video for a long time now. It's something I looked forward to every year, at least the last 3 years. This is the third year I've done this. The Fed League Flash Awards. And I wish I actually had physical awards to present. I don't, but I do want to take this special opportunity to acknowledge players who have excelled, coaches, executives, people who do the broadcasting, give them recognition for outstanding services and performances this year. They deserve to be recognized. The league does do a presentation, MVP of the year, goaltender of the year, all that kind of stuff. But sometimes I agree, sometimes I don't. And it's not that I don't disagree, like, that the person that they name isn't worthy of being an MVP. It's just that, sometimes I look at things a little different. It's like, well, yeah, they had a great year, but so did this person. And this is my MVP candidate. So, with that said, I created names for all these awards. So this is going to be about a 20, 25 minute segment, just so you know. created names for all these awards that give recognition to some great people who have been involved in the FPHL in the past, and I believe deserve to be immortalized. And so, yeah, without further ado, let us go through our list of Fed League Flash Award winners. All right, now the first one, two, so 7 awards that I'm going to announce are purely stat driven. So there's no subjectivity or my choice being factored in this. This is just where things fell in. It's all completely 100% stat driven. So the first award is the Ahmed Mahfouz Award for the leading scorer in the league. Obviously, if you follow the league pretty closely, these first 7 there's no suspense here. You're going to know who the award winner is, but I want to recognize him. Why I chose Ahmed Mahfouz? Because Mahfouz played on 7 teams throughout the first 12 years of the league. He led the league in scoring 4 times. He broke the 100-point mark 3 times, averaged over 2 points per game, and ended his time in the Fed with 295 goals, second all-time, 590 assists, which is tops, and 885 points, also tops. This is an accomplishment that I don't believe will ever be equaled. Okay, so this year's winner with the leading scorer is Columbus's Tyler Barrow. Led the league with 112 points. He is the only player to score 100 points this season, 42 goals, 70 assists. And that is the 6th highest point total in a year all time in the FPHL. So congratulations, Tyler. Next award is for the leading goal scorer, and I'll explain my recipient, if you will, in just a little bit. But this is named for Pierre Dagenet. The Pierre Dagenet Award goes to the leader in goals scored. Dagenet joined the brand new Federal Hockey League to give it some credibility and name recognition. He was an NHL veteran of 142 games. And he also played 94 games in the Continental Hockey League in Russia. Joined the Akwesasne Warriors, and in his second and final year, he netted an astonishing 81 goals in just 45 games. He also leads the league as the top point scorer in a season with 143. The winner of the Pierre Dagenet Most Goals Award goes to Patrick Marcinkiewicz of the PD Ice Cats, who scored 42 goals. Now, Tyler Barrow also scored 42 goals this year. However, Patrick Marcinkiewicz played 1 less game, so he had the same amount of goals in 1 less game for a higher goal per game average. So Patrick Marcinkiewicz, this year's recipient of the Pierre Dagenet Award / recognition. All right, let's go on to the Trevor Karasevich Award for the leader in assists. Trevor was a veteran of 8 SPHL seasons, and he came to the FHL, the Federal Hockey League, joined the New Jersey Outlaws, and helped them win the Commissioner's Cup in 2011-2012. Next season, he split time between the Williamsport Outlaws and the Dayton Demons and netted an astounding 102 assists in the season. He has also won 4 Commissioner's Cups, either as a player or as a coach. 102, that mark, I don't think that's ever going to be touched. We had a player do pretty well, though. Ivan Bondarenko of the Binghamton Black Bears, 77 assists this year to lead the league. That is the 4th highest assist total in a year all time in the FPHL. So congratulations to Ivan. All right, next we have the Matt Anthony Award that goes to the goaltender with the most wins in a season. In a league where goaltending typically doesn't last long, Anthony was a stalwart in net for 5 seasons, with Watertown and Danville from 2011 to 2016, Anthony posted a grand total of 103 wins, which is still an FPHL record, recording 20 win seasons 3 times. This year's award winner goes to Dominic Tomei of the Binghamton Black Bears, who finished the season with 28 wins, which is a 3rd highest total all time in a season. Congratulations to Dominic's. All right, it's Dominic, excuse me. All right, we have the Christian Pavlas Award going to the goalie with the best goals against average. Pavlas came to the Fed after several years playing in Slovakia. He backstopped the 2018 to 2019 Carolina Thunderbirds, arguably the greatest team in FPHL history, recording a 30-3 record with an amazing 1.77 goals against average. As still tops in the FPHL, this year's winner got very close with a 1.83 goals against average. Again, it is Dominic Tomei of the Binghamton Black Bears. Dominic led the league in every major category among goaltenders this year. Fantastic season that he had this year. Okay, moving on. Let's do the Justin McDonald or the JMac Award. That goes to the league leader in point and plus minus status. Okay, Justin McDonald, he was always really high in his plus minus. He led the league twice. He is a minor league veteran of 627 games, holding the record for the best plus minus ever recorded in the FPHL with a plus 87 with the 2021 to 22 Watertown Wolves, who won the championship that year. The JMac Award goes to Austin Durazio of the Binghamton Black Bears, who finished tops in the league with a plus 48. All right. I don't know if you can call this an award or not, but some people think that this is a great thing, so we'll mention it. The Joe Pace Award. This is Joe Pace Jr. This goes to the leader in penalty minutes during the season. Joe Pace was a consummate showman, an integral part of the FPHL from 2011 to 2024. He leads the league in both penalty minutes with 1,852 and with games played with 531 for now. The winner this year is AJ Schlepp of the Biloxi Breakers, who racked up 342 penalty minutes this year. That is the second highest all time in FPHL history. Okay, the rest of the awards are subjective. I went through very carefully, looked at different players, different numbers, different trends to make my choice with the next few awards that I'm going to mention. Now, some of these are not for players. They are for people who are outside of the realm of player, but we'll save those to last. We will focus on players first. And my choice for Matt Robinson, the MVP award. The Matt Robinson Award goes to the league MVP. As I define an MVP, that is a player that a team could least survive without. Matt Robertson, after a stellar minor league career, including 1 year in the International Hockey League and 5 in the SPHL, Robertson came to Port Huron, had an immediate impact, leading the team in scoring 3 straight seasons, scoring 133 goals in that time frame, and 1.1 assists per game. This year, my choice for the Matt Robinson Award goes to Columbus River Dragons forward Tyler Barrow, who had 42 goals, tied for the league, 70 assists, 112 points. Of course, that led the league. He also had 2.1 points per game. That was also tops in the league. he was also my choice for the top star of the year. For that, he did receive a physical award. I had the picture posted with him holding the trophy for Player of the Year or Top Star of the Year. So congratulations, Tyler Barrow, MVP for this year for the Fed League Flash. Okay, the Brian Marks Award. This is for the best defensiveman. Marks played 7 years in the FPHL and became the first blue liner to average more than a point per game, while still maintaining a large presence in his own zone, accumulating a plus-minus rating of 148 in his 7 years. He won 2 championships in his career. Best defenseman, my choice for this year is a repeat from last year. He won it last year. Carter Shinkarik of the Athens Rock Lobsters had 25 goals, 72 assists, a plus 22 rating. Fantastic, fantastic player. Congratulations to Carter Shinkarik, the Fed League Flash Defensiveman of the Year. Now, for the Rookie of the Year is the Peter Vetri Award. That goes to the first-year rookie of the year. And Vetri, he was a standout goaltender who backstopped UMass Lowell, D1 program. And then he turned pro, joined the Danbury Whalers, led the team with a 21-13-0 record with 3.28 goals against, a 919 save percentage. He was named Rookie of the Year that year. Unfortunately, he did pass away a few years ago, so wanted to posthumously name this award in his honor. So the Peter Vetri Rookie of the Year award goes to Alexander Legkov of the PD Ice Cats. 58 games played, which leads all players. 38 goals, 53 assists, 91 points to lead all rookie scorers, averaging 1.6 points per game. And he had a shot percentage of 19.1%, also tops among all rookies. So congratulations to Alexander Legkov, who spent time with both Danbury Hat-Tricks and the PD Ice Cats. All right, let's go to the Nick Nieder Award. This is my equivalent of the Vezina Trophy. Goes to the best overall goaltender. There it is. In my opinion, Nieder was the epitome of what it meant to be a goalie in the Fed. It was a minor league career that spanned 15 seasons across a couple different leagues. He even dressed as an e-bug for the Cincinnati Cyclones last year. Played for 8 different Fed teams, compiled 65 career wins, and had a championship. My nomination for Nick Nieder, pretty much a no-brainer. It is Dominic Tomei of the Binghamton Black Bears. Again, led the league in all major categories. Goals against, 1.83. Wins, 28. Save percentage, 932. And he had a record-tying 7 shutouts during the season, tying Brendan Colgan from a couple of years ago when Colgan was with the Columbus River Dragons. So congratulations to Dominic Tomei. You get the Nick Nieder Fake Vezina Award for 2025-26. Next, I have the Mo Levac Award. This is my equivalent of the Selke Award that goes to the best two-way forward, at least in my opinion, the best two-way forward in the league. Mo Levac, what a career he had. It spanned 15 years within the FPHL's existence, starting from the very first year. He's always been an on-ice leader, excelling at face-offs, as well as strong defensive play and a scoring touch. Was a wonderful mentor to a lot of younger players, helped them along. He ranked 6th overall. Now 7th overall as far as top scorers in the league with 421 points. He was also very well beloved in whatever community that we was in. The Molavac Award this year, I am awarding to Monroe Moccasins forward Carlos Forneris, who had a fantastic season. 26 goals, 59 assists, 85 points. That's 1.6 points per game. He also had a fantastic plus-minus rating of plus 34. He always played on the first power play unit, played on the PK, he played in all situations, had a ton of ice time, fantastic two-way forward. Wherever the puck was, Forneris was very close by. So congratulations to Carlos Forneris for that. All right, let's see, what else do we have? A couple more players. I have a couple of newly formed award recognitions that I wanted to add this year. Next one is, I am naming it the Johnny Ruiz Award. This is the equivalent of the Lady Byng in the NHL, the most gentlemanly player, someone who is a great ambassador for the game. Of course, we know Johnny Ruiz is widely respected throughout the league and beloved throughout the league. Probably one of the best ambassadors for FPHL hockey that there has ever been, and just the epitome of good sportsmanship, gentlemanly play, and protecting the integrity of the game. Johnny Ruiz epitomizes that perfectly. This year, I have chosen the first ever Johnny Ruiz Award to go to Cameron Clark of the Topeka Scarecrows. Clark, great player this year. He plays with a lot of ferocity and intensity. He can score, but he is also very, what's the word I'm looking for? Very in control of his game. He had 8 penalty minutes the whole year. Fantastic player. Just a teammate's teammate, a guy you want on your side. Cameron Clark, this year's award winner for the Johnny Ruiz Most Gentlemanly Player Award. And the last player award, this is also new this year. I have created this as a recognition of those who are true Ironmen, who are just out there every day for the love of the game, playing day in, day out. They're hurt, they're not hurt, they're always out there on the ice, just doing what they can, leading their team, leading by example. I'm calling this the Dustin Henning Award. Dustin Henning this last year played for the Watertown Wolves. He's been in the league since its second season. He is now second all-time in games played, just behind Joe Pace. And someone else that's pretty high on the list. This is who the award goes to this year. I am giving the Dustin Henning Ironman Award to Matt Graham of the Port Huron Prowlers. Matt Graham has been playing now in the FPHL for 11 seasons. Of course, he also is the team general manager. He's a coach. He wears many hats, but he's always out there on the ice, always leading his team, always helping his team to be unified and all on the same page. Played 55 games this year. He only missed 1 game. He averaged 1.17 points per game as a 38-year-old. What I would give to be 38 again. But, that's getting up there in hockey terms. But he's out there playing every day. 497 games played, which is currently third all-time, only behind Joe Pace and Dustin Henning. So he comes back for another year. He's going to be breaking a lot of records next year. But congratulations to Matt Graham for your stamina, for your durability, for always being there. Matt Graham, the winner of the Dustin Henning Ironman Award. Last 3 awards that I have don't go to players; they go to other people. It's time for the Chris Fiorello Coach of the Year Award. Now,
Chris Fiorello, let's talk about him for a bit. He was he coached the first 3 years of the FPHL, won a championship in year 2 with the New Jersey Outlaws, compiling a 99, 46, and 10 record behind the bench. He now serves as a motivational speaker, travels across eastern United States and parts of Canada. Anyway, last year, I gave the award to Brant Sherwood. Now, Brant Sherwood was named by the FPHL as Coach of the Year this year. I didn't want to have a repeat in this category, not because I didn't think that Brant deserved it, but I did award it to him last year, and he has gotten the recognition from the FPHL as well. So I went in a different direction, looked at some of the other things that a couple coaches have done. I do want to mention I considered Everett Thompson of the Indiana Sentinels. I know that sounds strange because the Indiana Sentinels finished in 6th place, but what Thompson did in Indiana was phenomenal from the time that he got there and establishing a system and helping the team to be competitive day in and day out. I considered him, thought that was a good choice, but ultimately I went in the direction of Monroe Moccasins' Russ Perrant, who took a team that did well in their first season, but improved by leaps and bounds this last year. Going to the playoffs, 18 wins in a row, just falling just short of a divisional title in the Continental Division this year. Russ Perrant helped galvanize the team and put together a great team and led them to a very, very good finish, one of the top teams in the league. So congratulations to Russ Perrant. Final 2 awards. Last one goes to, it is the Jeff Barrett Award for the Broadcaster of the Year. Jeff Barrett, he was the longest tenured play-by-play man in the FPHL, finished his 9th season and retired at the end of this last year. Served in that capacity since 2017 with his energy and dedication to hockey and the FPHL. Jeff really set the standard for a lot of the current broadcasters in the league today. I am nominating or naming as the award winners in this category to the team of Joseph Furtado and Pete Furcano of the Monroe Moccasins. Both Joseph and Pete not only did a great job covering the Moccasins and calling their games, but they worked together with a lot of the newer broadcasters in this league, helping them to grow in their careers, working out dual podcasts, and being excellent mentors, always giving to the community. Both Joseph and Pete gave so much of themselves to the Monroe community. Fantastic job by them. And so they are my broadcasters of the year, the Jeff Barrett Award there. Final award, the Don Kiernan Executive of the Year Award. And this is, again, going to go to more than one person. Before founding the FPHL, Don Kiernan worked tirelessly to build up the Syracuse Stars junior and youth hockey programs, as well as the Empire Junior Hockey League, which predated the Fed, and was also a part of the USPHL. This year, the Don Kiernan Award goes to the team of the PD Ice Cats executives, Kevin Kupia, the managing partner and president, Mike Ronan, the CEO, and to Kevin Boggs, the chief operating officer. Fantastic job they did with not only bringing together a team that qualified for the playoffs and got to the second round, but also in just really reaching out and connecting with the market, establishing a footprint once again of hockey in the PD region. Fantastic job done by Kevin, Mike, and Kevin. So congratulations to Kevin Kupia, Mike Ronan,
and Kevin Boggs of the PD Ice Cats, the Don Kiernan Executives of the Year. That is it. That is our awards segment. And congratulations to everyone. Again, I wish I had physical awards. I don't. But these are people that are well deserving of special recognition, and they should be celebrated and congratulated on a fantastic season. Okay, so this segment is going to be surprisingly brief. There's really not much in the way of new developments. Just a couple of quick things I want to run through. Okay, in regards to the questions that people have, well, we haven't received an official announcement from Baton Rouge, Biloxi, Watertown, Motor City, what's happening. At this point, I don't have anything new to offer, anything as far as any real developments. So just to rehash, Baton Rouge, there's apparently still conversations and attempts being made to try and figure out a way of saving the team. I don't know how effective those efforts could be. Biloxi, I've heard unconfirmed rumors that there are conversations happening in the background. I can't attest to that, nor can I say there is progress or there is closure. Not really anything to report there. With Watertown, I know people are watching that situation very closely. And if you'll remember, the last thing that we heard was early last week, Watertown on their page made an announcement that they are trying to work things out with a couple of potential buyers. And that the wording was, and I want to stress one particular word, we should know some more information in about 10 days, which would be about now as I am releasing this, or in the 1 or 2 days to follow. All right. As of right now, there has been nothing new reported, nothing on any kind of websites, even announced by the mainstream media. Things have been pretty quiet over the last 7, 8 days. Give it a couple more days, and then we'll see. Motor City, I don't know what to tell you. I keep hearing that there's going to be announcements made, and then it just never comes. And I'm not saying that as a slam to Motor City. There could be a number of reasons why we have not heard anything yet. I know the common rumor is they're all set in Wyandotte, Michigan, playing at Yak Arena. But again, we have had no announcement, no confirmation on that. So right now, yeah, that's about it. All right. So now we should be getting clarification on a lot of these situations within the next 3 weeks, because the league at some point, and that would be, I'd give it a full week after the playoffs end, where they have to say, okay, we have to plan for realignment. We have to plan for a schedule. So we have to know now who is definitely in, who is definitely out. So expect mid to late May that we will get clarification, and maybe in some cases an announcement. I can't say we will. I'm just saying maybe we will. Okay, but yeah, that unwritten deadline is there, because the league has to prepare for next season. This happened last year. We really didn't ever get an announcement about HC Venom, an official announcement, until well after the fact. By then, it was already determined. Yeah, HC Venom is not returning. We've got a schedule made. Blah 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 blah. So, yeah, we will have some information for sure. Definitely, I'd say 3 weeks. All right. Only other thing that I really want to cover here, I want to touch base on just a couple little factoids with the finals coming up this weekend. As far as preparation going for it, Binghamton practiced on Tuesday, traveled on Wednesday, and they will be having a practice at the Florence Center on Thursday to get used to the ice. It's a lot different. And no, not saying this as any kind of a slight to the ice crew and the staff at Florence Center, but it's just a fact that the ice is softer in Florence than it is in Binghamton. That just takes some getting used to. The crew in PD has done a marvelous job with keeping things going. They've got some old equipment with the chiller and the ice plant. And in spite of that, they've managed to keep things going. Yeah, we had a couple of little hiccups on the way. We've also had hiccups in the NHL this year, and in the NAHL and the AHL, all having ice issues. So this is not a PD problem. This is not abnormal. So anyway, yeah, I say we give a kudos to the staff at Florence Center for keeping the ice going, for keeping it keeping conditions safe for players and for officials and for everyone who is out there. So they've done a great job with with the equipment that they have and the conditions. They've done a marvelous job. So yeah, yes, kudos to the Florence Center staff. All right, of course, game 1 is Friday, 7:15. Same thing with game 2 on Saturday. Both games 7:15, and then the venue will change for the following weekend to Binghamton. All right. Just recapping, of course, mentioned it already earlier in the video with the preview snapshots. Of course, the only 2 times these 2 teams met were up in Binghamton, January 23rd and 24th. First game, Binghamton won on the 23rd, 6-3. And on the 24th, PD came back with a 4-0 shutout over Binghamton, the only shutout that Binghamton had on home ice. So there you go. Now, there have been significant changes to the PD lineup from then until now. I just want to kind of run through things. First, just mention with Binghamton, the only thing that's different with the Binghamton roster compared to January 23rd and 24th is 2 players that weren't with the team then because they were up in the SPHL, goaltender Connor McAnanima and forward Zach Sirota. Okay, they are in the lineup now where they were not that previous weekend. With the PD Ice Cats, okay, 4 players that they had then that they no longer have include goaltender Matt Sales. Of course, he was traded to Athens. Matt Gilbert, Nathan Carl, and Trevor Lord. Those 4 no longer with the team, obviously. And so they're going to have a different look. In comes 7 different players that Binghamton has not seen before, at least not with the PD Ice Cats. Okay, Brendan Colgan, of course, that was the big goaltender move. Binghamton's seen plenty of Colgan in the past with Watertown, but now he's in PD. Elijah Wilson, of course, he came over from Topeka. You had the signing of Jake Hamilton. You had Drew Welsh, who, when PD played in Binghamton in January, Drew Welsh was up in the SPHL. So he is back. Jake Cox was acquired from the Baton Rouge Zydeco. Ben Pizamenti was acquired from the Columbus River Dragons. And then they had their rookie goaltender, Gage Reimer, that also has joined the team. Hasn't seen the ice yet as far as the playoffs or anything like that. But so yeah, you have seven new faces on PD. So that's going to add an interesting dynamic to the series because again, Binghamton hasn't seen these 7 guys. So yeah, that's going to be very interesting indeed. All right, so that's really about it. But I did want to just go through those lineup changes, kind of it's not exactly a comparison, but just to kind of voice that PD, not the same team that they were then. Really, PD struggled early this season, and it was about the time that they pulled into Binghamton in January and had that 4-0 win. That's really when things started to change for PD in a positive direction. Of course, they ended up making the playoffs, the only sub 500 team, but that hasn't mattered. I mean, they easily dispatched of Athens. They survived, outlasted Columbus with a lot of tenacity and endurance. So yeah, it's a different team.
it'll be a very, very interesting series. I don't think it's going to be a 3-game series. Binghamton has had that the last 2 years when they played against the, well, then Carolina Thunderbirds. I don't think this is a 3-game series. So we'll wait and see. All right. That's all I have for news and notes this week.
All right, and that concludes this week's show. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you to all of the new followers and supporters, whether it's of this page or the Facebook page or even the WordPress page. You're saying, where are all those? Okay, with Facebook, it's just simply the Fed League Flash on Facebook. Search for me there. YouTube, well, here you are. And WordPress, if you want to read the occasional articles that I write on what's going on around the league, you can go to fedleagueflash9.wordpress.com. Always remember with these videos, if you don't have time to watch the whole video, you can go right down here where it says more. You can click on more. I guess actually on your side, it's over here. When you click on more, you bring up all the timestamps for the different segments of these videos. Click on the timestamp that you want. Go right there to that video. And always remember, you can always contact me at email fedflash15@gmail.com, or you can send me a DM through Facebook Messenger. Preferably the email. That's a little bit more eye-catching for me as I go through my week. All right, so that's it. I hope you enjoyed the show. A little bit more positive this week than last week's episode. Next week, we're going to be talking a lot about what's going on between the SP and the FPHL behind the scenes. What do things really look like? We'll examine that a little bit more, so I hope you join me for that episode. I am Gary Ryan for the Fed League Flash. Until next time, keep your head up, keep your stick on the ice, and above all else, be excellent to each other! We'll see you next time.